Hello, it's me. Um, after, as I've said previously, I watched as Jeremy Corbyn um, became the Labour of the leader of the Labour Party, even, and was then pushed out. And I remember thinking at the time, because none of us knew what this Starmer government was going to turn into, we thought at the time, what's the game plan here? People joined the Labour Party, including myself, so I speak with some small authority on this. I joined the Labour Party because of Jeremy Corbyn and what he promised to do with regards to the NHS, etc. That's what mattered to me. And so as he was forced out through a campaign of deceit, dirty tricks and lying, I remember thinking to myself, this is just so unjust. That the man responsible for the then Labour Party's reinvigoration was now being forced out. If only we'd known then what we know now, eh? And so months, years later, one of the people who was, I dare say, pulling strings, pushing buttons, etc., behind the scenes, is now out in his ear in disgrace. And that does fill me with some satisfaction. However, Jeremy Corbyn on Peter Mandelson scandal. I've not seen this yet, so let's see if it still brings me as much satisfaction after watching this as it did when we first learned of Mandelson's demise.
Last year, on that final day of campaigning in Islington North, the Labour Party bust in like a whole load of what they maybe thought, who they thought were like heavy hitters to get on the doorsteps for the Labour candidates. And one of those people was Peter Mandelson.
Yes, indeed.
And I just wanted to know whether you had ever spoken to him or crossed paths with him.
Oh, over the years, yeah. I had quite a few conversations with Mandelson. He is...
Mandelson.
He's not called the Prince of Darkness for nothing. I remember him saying when I was leader that every morning he woke up, looked at himself in the mirror and worked out what he was going to do that day to undermine my leadership.
He said that?
He said that, yeah.
To you?
Yeah, he said
Well.
He said it's my job to undermine him every day. He then turned up at a parliamentary Labour Party meeting one time and said, I was speaking and taking questions as leader. He said, Jeremy, what do you say to those 20,000 people that have just resigned from the Labour Party because of you? I said, well, actually, Peter, I don't recognise those figures at all. That is simply not the case. And I think
because the membership went up.
He said, well, it's what I think, At which point John Prescott joined in. John Prescott, who had a mot juste for every occasion, he said, nobody cares a bugger what you bloody think. And then they got into a row between them, which was Mandelson and Prescott having an argument.
That must have been something to see.
Prescott was impressive.
Really?
But Mandelson has now had to resign as ambassador, as you know, and stuff has come out about him. Well,
Did you find that surprising? That those things
not in the
out?
slightest. Not in the slightest, but surprising. And
so the question is for me is if Jeremy Corbyn didn't find this slightly surprising, was it for the reasons that we know about? Potentially that there may have been some illegality? There's certainly impropriety with regards to his relationship with Epstein. Or are there other things that Corbyn is aware of that we don't know about that he's referring to? Because Mandelson was part of the dare I say the Blair government experiment, where Labour, as traditional Labour entity, the party, died. It became New Labour, and for New Labour, read what was then what we used to call Tory light conservatism, if you like. So straight away it shifted. The Labour Party shifted, and now it's evolved. Dare I say evolved? Maybe I should say de-evolved into some monstrosity of right-wing. Dare I say? There's a lot of this dare I say stuff going on because it's almost unbelievable to consider this now. Fascist, right leaning, or rather, up to the nameplate, left. I mean, what is it? It's just this Frankenstein. Labour is supposed to be left. They're now the liberal left, which translates as right. And so the right now, traditional right now, are calling liberal Labour left fascism. That makes more sense. But fascism is normally associated with the right. It's not getting easier. So with Mandelson being politically born in the fires of that mess, one wonders initially, like, what were his political leanings? Because I always felt Mandelson was a bit of a conservative from the outset. What was he doing there, kind of thing? Being in Labour, even Blair's Labour. And as time went on, it started to occur to me that maybe he was being played by an opposing team. It didn't necessarily occur to me that the opposing team would be the intelligence services of this country. But I believe that now. I believe Mandelson was captured by Epstein in an illicit, dare I say, would treason be an appropriate word to use in this instance? And all of a sudden found himself, as I said previously, in this world where he had power, influence, and access to people who would facilitate him and his urges, fully allegedly. And what do you do when you find yourself there? Is that something you can aspire to? Assuming he aspired to that? Should we carry on?
Always found him a very strange, manipulative figure, both in his dealings with the media and so much more. And I just think I'm glad he's resigned.
I mean, his relationship with Epstein was known since 2019, right?
There was nothing secret about it. It was pretty open that they were good mates. And when he said the day before that Starmer finally asked for his resignation, this is not good, but there's more to come. What on earth was Starmer doing in saying, well, okay, I'll now go out and support him? Surely at that point, I heard this on the radio this morning, surely at that point, Starmer should have...
This goes to the belief that I have that Starmer has also been captured by some shadowy political entity. Is it Europe? Is it someone else? I mean, who knows? But I've maintained all along that what Starmer is doing as Prime Minister, governing this country, is not governing for the people of this country. It's as though he's governing for somebody else, with somebody else's agenda. Rachel Reeves was trying to collapse the economy, in my opinion. It's obvious. It's just the people who are in these positions of, in economics and politics who don't seem to get it. The only thing they're missing is they're not going far enough in believing that this could happen. That the Prime Minister of this country might actually be working for somebody else, not this country. I don't see it as such a big stretch. I've looked for many years into the darkest deeds of espionage and intelligence, and this is just right there. This is right there. This is statecraft 101. And so many people just refuse to believe it. And I think Mandelson is a prime example of what happens when you capture political individuals and place them at your service forcefully.
Only up and said, what the hell is coming out then? And then at that point asked for his resignation. So why Starmer decided to go into Parliament and defend Peter Mandelson and then dismiss him 3 hours later, it don't look good.
Do you think his decision to appoint him as US ambassador, even knowing that there was a relationship there, do you think that should be a reflection on Starmer's judgment or his own character?
Absolutely. I mean, if you've got somebody you're about to appoint as ambassador and you've got this enormous question mark over their relationship with Epstein and his support for Epstein after he'd been convicted, not before, after he'd been convicted, you sort of think, well, that is something. Now, the Foreign Office are not very keen on political appointments of ambassadors because it upsets the career path of anyone else who wants to be the ambassador, for example, because being the ambassador to Washington is the plum job in the Foreign Office. It's the one they all want. And so they were probably
strange as a bystander. You just don't think of things like that.
Disappointed.
There's a whole world there.
Starmer had chosen to make a political appointment of that. I think it's the only political appointment he's made on ambassador.
And that's a very, very important point. It's the only one that we're aware of on the face of it. And again, let's say that Starmer and Mandelson have the same boss. So bear in mind, Mandelson, MI5 did the checks on Mandelson to become the ambassador, and he failed. He failed the checks. MI5 made Starmer aware of this, and he still got the job. Who got him the job? Starmer. Starmer pushed it through. It seems so obvious to me that they are working for the same people or part of the same web, if you like, and that somebody much more powerful than Starmer tapped Starmer and said, he's the man you want in that position. Get him in. Don't care what you have to do. Make sure he's the ambassador. It screams out loud to me. And yet so many of our commentators and pundits just they don't believe it. They can't go that far. And yet if you do go that far, then much of what's been happening in world politics for the last 20 years makes all the sense in the world.
Level. And so I would hope that the next ambassador will be somebody that comes from the Foreign Office rather than appointed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I read something that was quite a record that Mandelson set to be someone who's had to resign 3 times in 3 decades.
Yeah, 3 times, 3 decades.
3 scandals.
3 scandals that we know of. There may be more to come. Who knows?
Oh.
Who knows?
But he did
say
that he thought the people of North Islington didn't deserve to be represented by me, and then he campaigned for my opponent, and we know what the result was. So thanks, Peter.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. If this isn't a moment of karma that's taken its time to go the circuitous route and land squarely back in your lap. I don't know what is. Does it make me feel as satisfied now, having heard what Jeremy Corbyn has to say? Yes, it does. Because Jeremy Corbyn has remained as principled a politician as there ever was. A man with a documented history of fighting racism and injustice everywhere. And of course, that sort of helped me make my mind up when I joined the Labour Party. How many other politicians can we say that of? Certainly not Mandelson. Mandelson is, as I've said previously, not only the epitome of everything that is wrong with politics, but a tacit admission that politics is rotten. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like and subscribe if you would like. Not forcing you. It is free. Until next time, this is me signing off. Do look after yourselves.